I watched this week's episode of Raw when I was on a plane coming back from the USA after successfully defending my Progress British Championship 2 times. Also, I think there's a dumb wrestling rule that if you do defend your title across the seas, it becomes a world title or a global title. So, damn it, I'm calling it. Also, thank you to everyone that did come out. I was also terrified because, of course, it was the night when we didn't know what was going to happen to the New Day. My gosh, my expectations were even worse than I was imagining. When CM Punk was walking into the ring and he saw Sami Zayn, he saw Jey Uso, and Jey Uso went, yeah, and did the deepest yeet you've ever heard in your life. But when he went to shake Sami's hand, I mean, they did get on, but you could feel the sexual tension. Not sexual. Punk then did indeed come out in front of the fans, and the commentators were all like, well, I wonder what his big favour from Paul Heyman's going to be. And I was like, it's so obvious, man. He's going to want first dibs when the new Zelda game comes out. We all want that. Punk also reminded us that it's great to be alive, and I was like, well, you don't know that, CM. You've never been dead. Maybe being deceased is absolutely wonderful. When he took us back to the Hell in the Cell and said, man, the day after that I was so beat up, I didn't know what tomorrow held. But this time, even though the War Games was pretty brutal, I do know what I want. And he pointed at nothing. That's what he did. He climbed the rope and went, can you see it? Can you see it? And everyone was like, yes, CM Punk. Of course we can see it. Get him his medication. Of course, he was basically referring to WrestleMania or the magical WrestleMania sign or the WWE World Title or the World Heavyweight Championship, because be it the Elimination Chamber or be it the Royal Rumble, he certainly made out like that was his plan. And just as he was about to give us more, Seth Rollins interrupted. And I was like, Seth, in the world of kayfabe, this means you went in the back going, not yet, not yet, not yet, push play now, and you took away the reveal. Don't make me mad, Sethy boy. I want to like you. Rollins also took the longest route to the ring, because he was doing this the whole time. He was also wearing a suit that looked like it was melting. That's what it looked like. Now, of course, this did feel super duper big, because they've been at it since the day CM Punk returned to WWE. That's basically what Rollins talked about. He was like, I've been thinking about this, and I should have knocked you out on the day that you did pop your head back in here. Now, he also talked about all the stuff that got in the way, including the world title, the bloodline, and the fact the last time he had seen CM Punk, it was after this Hell in a Cell match, and can you believe it? He went and pitied him. But what did CM Punk then do? He went to the War Games, he teamed with Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins hates Roman Reigns, so now he doubly hates CM Punk. You remember this? We learnt it in maths in school. Now, Punk kind of laughed this off and was like, dude, great speech, but here's the deal. It's awesome that you've been thinking about me these last 6 months, but do you know how many times I've been thinking about you? A whopping 0. I was like, uh-oh, we're firing those shots. He also means nothing to CM, because the only reason he wanted to get into it beforehand was because he is the champion, or was the champion, but now you got nothing, so you ain't nothing to me. And they got into this really awkward exchange. I think you were meant to think it could have been a real fight, and Rollins pushed Punk on his ass, so Punk came back and they started throwing fisticuffs until all the officials came out, including Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. And this was actually quite smart because, of course, if you do go through the storyline, these guys have been friends. When Seth kind of yelled at Jey, why don't you go back to Roman? You know the deal. You cannot say bad stuff to Jey Uso. You upset poor Sami Zayn. They even told Seth to apologise, and I was like, no man, why am I going to say sorry? If anyone stabbed anybody in the back here, it was you, because you came and asked me to be in the War Games, and then when I said no, you went right to Roman Reigns, then you got the second worst person, CM Punk. Sami Zayn was so good here. He's like, are you delusional? I asked you twice, man. Twice, and you turned me down. I didn't want to team with CM Punk, but we needed somebody, and if you were out, what was I meant to do? Rollins then doubled down because he was like, well, you're still going to get Roman back to his perch of power, when Sam was like, do you know why he got there to begin with? Because somebody 10 years ago smashed him in the back with a chair. I was like, oh, this is really good stuff. Now, Rollins admitted that he did do this, but he has atoned ever since. But also, if we are pointing the finger of blame, you did this too, Sammy, so don't pretend he didn't get under your skin. That's also true. That happened at the Royal Rumble. That is the point, though. Roman Reigns treats everybody like crap, and as Seth said, has he really changed? Has he ever apologized to you? Has he ever apologized to Jey Uso? When you think about it, stare off into the distance, he hasn't. And he still kind of is a manipulating son of a bitch. It is the same with CM Punk, so Sami Zayn, as much as I love you, you gotta stop being so gullible. Screwed up my word sentencing there. The point is, this was a fire segment. Now Zayn could see that Seth needed to blow off some steam, so he did challenge him to a match. Of course, by this point, Seth Rollins was like, how dare you doff your glove to me, fine soldier. And it was actually set up for later. I was like, man, we are not in Kansas anymore, Toho. And also rewarded you for watching all the way back in 2014 and told you that maybe we're going to do CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, maybe we're going to do CM Punk Roman Reigns, maybe we're going to do Seth Rollins versus CM Punk, and maybe we're going to do stuff with Sami Zayn too. I mean, this was one of the best things that WWE has kicked off Raw with, potentially all year. I mean, there's good guys, bad guys, there's shade of grey, and you can kind of pick whichever side you want to be on, and you could find a justification. So if you do have 27 minutes today, that's how long it went on, you should go and see it and talk about setting up WrestleMania. This was the big time. Let's get it up. We then learned that after the Survivor Series, Damian Priest had jumped Finn Balor, which did make sense. You know what happened to old Damo? He got beaten up by the Judgment Day. So as much as things change, they always seem to stay the same. This is when we did indeed cut to their clubhouse, and Finn Balor was so happy they had done this. And Liv Morgan was like, wait a minute, I thought we agreed not to touch Damian Priest. And Finn basically went, oh yeah? Well, you didn't win the War Games, so you can shut up. So if you do want these guys to break up, give it till 2025. He also played Dominick Mysterio, because let's not forget, Big Bad Dom was going to take out Damian, but he didn't. So Balor had to take matters into his own hands when he said something along the lines of, if everybody listens to Finn, the Judgment Day wins. We do not give Finn Balor enough credit. He is so ridiculously entertaining. He's also a wonderful troll. I love it. Turns out he was totally right though, and we should all be listening to Finn, because Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, with her sunglasses, then walked to the ring. Flub me sideways, they defeated Kairi Sane and Io Sky. Now we kind of did make sure that Damage Control had a little bit of protection here, because Kairi hit the insane elbow, and of course Liv Morgan broke it up at the 1-2-0. So if you want to walk around today going, oh, they should have won, but the tag team rules got in the way, well, you can. And have a great time. Guy then took Morgan out with a dive, so Sane hit Rodriguez with the stiffest elbow you've ever seen. But obviously Raquel is a monster these days. She didn't care, and she hit the Tijana bomb, whatever the flub it's called. She got the 1-2-3. Just like that. So here's my big thing, and I am being a nerd, so please forgive me, but one, it was too short, but also two, why are we still doing Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez in a tag team, when for starters, Liv Morgan is the world singles champion, and she should be doing things like that. But also, we are going to be doing Raquel Rodriguez versus Rhea Ripley next week, so I think you should have flipped it here. Like, usually Liv comes out and Raquel would be her muscle, but I think it would have been better if Raquel had come out and we had just got some jabron and Rodriguez could have beaten her up. So it just didn't really feel like it achieved anything, so it is getting it down, but it was the first time maybe since Raquel Rodriguez has come back, she did look like a beast. That part's getting it up. It massively made more sense afterwards because, of course, Rhea Ripley did come down to the ring and she smashed everybody up. Listen, to all those crazies going, the Survivor Series, I can't believe that Rhea Ripley didn't sell those baseball bat shots. I mean, why are we even doing it? I'll tell you why. Because it's cool, all right? It's really cool if someone gets beat up and goes, ha ha, I don't care. It's wrestling. Stop taking the fun things away. Also, you got your wish right after this, because Raquel grabbed Ripley and she smashed her eye into the corner of Alan the announce table. It's pretty damn disgusting. Don't tell Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio about this. They'll want to do it again. So, of course, next week, Rhea can beat Raquel as she goes on to take on Liv Morgan, maybe at the first show on Netflix in the new year. She can win the title, and then she can start kicking ass again in 2025. And listen, I have thought about all of this, and I think it's totally the right thing to do. When the Judgment Day continued to run rampant over this show, because Kathy Kelly was trying to interview Gunther, and he didn't really get to say anything, because then walked Finn Balor. He was like, hey, mate, you probably owe me a shot. Let's not forget I helped you at the pay-per-view. Premium live event. Gunther then told Finn he is owed nothing, because actually I'm quite pissed off with you, you absolute goober. I didn't want your help at the Survivor Series. I was quite excited to beat Damian Priest by myself, and you stuck your nose in. I didn't want it. The condom was right next to him because he was big and ass. Gunther just slapped him away. When he also became a troll, so the troll was outdoing the troll. He's like, oh, well, Finn Balor, here you are, sniffing around. Well, your boy next to you, he's actually defeated Damian Priest, which is more than you've ever done. So maybe I'll just go to Adam Priest and have a little bit of a chat. So honestly, given what happens here and what happens later, it does feel like we're turning Gunther babyface. But it's so organic, which is a terrible word, but it's one that works here. I actually think it may be a good idea. When we got to our Women's Intercontinental Title Tournament, that sounds very familiar. It's because it is. Now look, it's fantastic that we have finally introduced these mid-card female belts because it's been way too long, but I cannot help it. Given that this is a copy and paste of what we're doing on SmackDown, while once again, wahoo wahey, we should have done this, just feels like story-wise or creative-wise, well, it's just a little bit dull. I mean, the fact we've doubled up as well just kind of made me feel a bit sad in my tum-tum. So I'm just going to give it a mini down. I mean, this could have been a 6-month story, which is what WWE has been doing throughout the year. I don't know. It also meant it was time for Dakota Kai versus Katana Chance versus Shayna Baszler. Listen, big fans of all of them, but let's go back to kayfabe. What the flub have they done to be involved in the tournament? I mean, it really must have been this. All right, guys, it's time to figure out the tournament, and it's going to be, well, that says Shayna Baszler, and that says Dakota Kai, and this one says Katana Chance, get out there now. Now, this kind of hurt me as well because I wanted both Baszler and Dakota to win. But you're not going to believe this, guys. I read the rule book, and apparently that's not a thing. Now, Shayna was allowed to flub people up here, which I always enjoy, because that's where she is at her best. And at one point, she even snuck up behind Dakota Kai, and she applied the Kira Fuda clutch. And if it hadn't been for those meddling kids, well, the fact it was a 3-way, she probably would have won. Katana is totally nutty though, so she flippity flopped from the top rope. And basically, let me try and get this right. She hit a 450 to try and break it up, but Dakota got out of the way, which meant Shayna Baszler got splashed when Dakota hit what I think her finish is called the go-to kick, or something like that. I forgot because she doesn't win many matches, but she did smash her right in the face. She beat her for the 1, 2, 3. But I did think this was nice because actually when you do break it all down, Dakota Kai has deserved an opportunity like this for ages. So when nice is nice, and I like the nice, giving it an up. Also thought it was a pretty damn good match. When I couldn't handle it, because it was time for our 10-year celebration of the New Day. While obviously I was excited to see how it was going to unfold, I genuinely had fear deep down in my Tootsie Toes. I have not felt like this way in a while. Now, I cannot do this justice, so let's just get into the meat and bones. But Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston did come out, and they thanked everyone for supporting them for so long. And just when it felt like Kofi was going to say we had decided to go our separate way, we got our big old pop of the evening, because Big E was back. Honestly, you need to go read the article he wrote on the Players Tribune. Big E is the best of us. Now, he got in deep here and he was like, man, I love you guys and I know you love me too, and it has just broken my heart to see what has happened over the last few weeks. That's why I have decided, until I am medically cleared, I am going to turn up to Raw every single week and I am going to manage you both. So essentially, the New Day is back together again. So I was doing the dance of joy and somebody must have sniped me right in the head. Because if you could believe it, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods got mad. That's right, they got mad at Big E. They were like, wait a minute, you come back now to tell us this? You've been seeing us fall out for months, and you picked today to stick your oar in? I'm sorry, bro, but maybe it's a bit too late. Now, of course, Big E said, dudes, I broke my neck, to which Kofi Kingston responded, you broke your neck, so what? I've been thinking about this. That's the worst thing that has ever been said. He even mentioned people like Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, and Edge that have come back from a neck break. But when it comes to Big E, you haven't even gotten surgery yet. And then Woods was like, yeah, I tore my Achilles apart and I had surgery so I could come back for you. But you, Big E, you can't even be bothered. But at this point, I was like, well, no, neither can I. I'm going to lay down for the rest of my life. I'm never going to get over this. They also claimed that Big E had chosen his desk job, his new girlfriend, and basically his new life over the New Day. What do I do? What do I tell you? If you weren't emotional at this, well, you're probably a ghost. Woods then also called Big E a burden, because everywhere they go, everyone's like, oh, we miss Big E, as if Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston don't. And quite frankly, they are sick of it. Now, of course, out of context, this makes no sense. We really miss Big E is not a word, but when you put the context in there, well, I may just change my lifestyle now, because once again, what is the point? I think I'm just gonna go get fat. Then said that Big E has to stop teasing all this false hope that one day maybe he will come back, because we all know that's not true, and he should get out the ring. He then tried to hug Kofi Kingston, and they stopped him. To be honest with you, my friends, I had water coming out of my seeing devices. Now, thankfully, there is a tiny bit of hope here, because Xavier Woods did say, we'll call you if we ever need you. So maybe it means one day Big E can get back to the ring, but I can't worry about that now. And then Big E sadly walked away as Woods and Kofi looked at each other and they said, you know what, now it's just you and me. Yeah, it's just you and me. So not only did they not break up, but they have reunited and they have become the biggest asshole heels on the planet. This was just tremendous television, and genuinely, when I take every single one of them, they are all-time performers. I don't care if you walk and go, Simon, this is a bunch of crap. It is not, because talk about understanding what wrestling is. And to come up with this based on real-life elements, once again, I'm doubling down on this, I mean it from the bottom of my Tootsie Toes, it is one of the best wrestling segments you could ever hope to see. It's also an incredible way to split up a team without actually splitting them up, and you can do so much with them now. And even if we don't see see Big E for a long old while, Woods and Kingston can now be a completely different version of the New Day, and imagine pulling that out of your ass after 10 flubbing years. So I really do think this will be spoken about for years, and while I'm sure there's one guy that goes, well, I did, nobody was expecting this. I mean, it really went for the heartstrings to the point it doesn't just get an up, it gets a golden up, and it is one of the most self-assured golden ups I have ever given. I would say I'd watch it again. No way, man. That's like poking myself in the eye with a fork. I don't need the pain. Just when you wanted some levity too, Karrion Kross was here and essentially went, well, the Wyatt family. You tried to kill my wife, so now I'm going to kill you. It's actually kind of cool though, because Karrion was all like, listen, I like poking the bear, so I expect the bear to poke back. But you crossed the line, Uncle Howdy and friends. So now no more words. I want to meet you in the ring. I do believe we're doing that next week. This was really good too. I like the feud. We also then saw Rhea Ripley in the back confirming she will be taking on Raquel Rodriguez next week. Things got a little bit interesting. Because she was talking to Io Sky and Kairi Sane and essentially said to Io, oh yeah, you are the #1 contender. I think it's Liv Morgan versus Io Sky at Saturday Night's main event. But if you win, Io, I will take that belt off you too. And she left, Dakota Kai walked in and was like, what's going on? And Damage Control didn't want to tell her. So once again, given what we just saw 2 minutes ago, we are planting some seeds here. Keep your eye on it. Speaking of eyes, there you go, nutbags. Rhea Ripley was icing her wounded eye. So you can ride that till the cows come home. When Dom was a total idiot, because he came out for his match with Gunther, and he told the Judgment Day maybe they should just wait in the back. Now here is the thing too, I actually believe that these two could wrestle forever, and I would never get bored. They are the perfect pairing, because you have Gunther, who feels like this honorable warrior, and then you have the Condom, who looks like some kind of hobo with a damn moustache, but he's also just so disgusting and wonderful. Just was so damn good. I mean, Mysterio even pushed Gunther in the back to begin with, and Gunther looked at him like he'd slapped his mother. And even when Dom tried to apply a face lock, Gunther just pushed him off and basically went, ha 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 ha. He turned into Sagat. Mysterio, of course, slapped him, which was the worst idea in the world. But when they did brawl to the outside, Gunther was going to powerbomb this guy on the floor, and Mysterio reversed it into a Hurricane Rana. The world champion went into the ring post, and if you can believe it, Dominick Mysterio and his moustache were then on top. Oodalali. And even the most powerful force in all of sports entertainment, the commercial break, couldn't help Gunther, because Dom just kept finding ways to pep this guy till he made a mistake. He tried to chop, and the chop that Gunther fired back, if I had seen, like, I don't know, a bunch of guts come out of Dominick Mysterio's chest, I would not have been surprised. He then applied the Boston Crab, which should have been a DQ, because Dominick Mysterio is definitely not from Boston. And look, he did make it to the ropes. When he got back to his feet, Gunther was pushing this dude, but he became a bit of a bully. Dom's HP was basically at 1 at this point, which meant he did have to bust out his special moves. So just when it looked like Gunther was going to end this with the sleeper, what did Mysterio do? He bunted Gunther right in the penis. I mean, that'll do it. This is when it really did feel like Gunther is going good guy, because yeah, Mysterio got the 619 and the spat of the frogs, and our world champion kicked out the 1-2-ooh. So now he's like some kind of a hero. It also meant that he had to get his revenge. I promise you, the boot that Gunther hit Dominik with was so hard it should be the plot of Face Off 2 when he hit the bomb of power. 1, 2, 3. So this really was poetry, and of course Finn Balor zoomed in here, sponsored and inspired by Mario, and he went stomp, 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 stomp when he took the world title and he threw it onto Gunther's corpse. I do believe we have a new program. So this was really well done, and look, as much as I like Survivor Series, it did kind of feel like WWE were just waiting to get to the other side before they pulled out all of the big guns. This was another good segment and match up. Kathy Kelly was then talking to Pete Dunne, almost called him Butch. It's a bad move. This is because R-Truth has been baffled all week, because it is meant to be Pete Dunne versus R-Truth, but Truth doesn't know that Butch and Dunne are different people. This is why I would always love R-Truth. It was only here really because we were going to build to some commotion with Adam Pearce, because we heard the jingle jangle in the background when it turned out, dun dun dun, somebody had attacked Jey Uso. Well, who the hell did that? So if I was in WWE right now, I would absolutely come up with a detective gimmick, because you will always be in work. But we did indeed have Butch versus Pete Dunne. Once again, I thought this was very smart by WWE, because we needed some levity on this show. Exhibit A. There the crowd was chanting Butch, so Dunne was furious, and he absolutely whooped Truth's ass to begin with, and he even stomped him as well. So Mario must be really mad about this. People are abusing his moves. He laid into him so much he got a little bit uncomfortable when Peter could not handle the fact that some kids were going, you're Butch, what a crappy name. So he went to yell at them. You know the deal. When a wrestler does that, he forgets he's in a wrestling match when Truth hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, surprise roll-up, and he actually beat him. Now look, that is awful. It just is, because we just overused this move. But here's the other deal. If I watch professional wrestling to be entertained, this made me laugh out loud. And I'll be honest with you, friends, it made me happy. So if I am going to crack up like that, and I enjoy what's given to me, I suppose it's like when you watch a bad movie and you still walk away going, So you can get mad at me. The comments are right there. I got to give it an up. It just worked. And it was over so damn fast. Bless Pete Dunne as well for selling this like he just lost all his crypto coins. When we were talking to Bron Breakker, he was like, well, man, I had a great match of the weekend, and I think Sheamus may have broken his rib. This is when Ludwig Kaiser walked in. Although I say that, Bron Breakker must have been able to see him, because Bron was here, and Ludwig just popped up there. Everyone has professional vision. You must have known Kaiser were there. This is why wrestlers are weird. Now, Kaiser sort of insinuated the only reason he did lose was because of the three-way, and look what he did to Sheamus, because it's a rib for a rib. I tell you, every single week Ludwig Kaiser becomes more like a James Bond villain. He also basically said that he wants to bring the Intercontinental Championship back to Imperium, when Bron went, yeah, you probably should do that soon, because Gunther's stock is going down and down and down, so if you don't pick it back up, well, you're pretty much screwed. So once again, doesn't that just sound like Ludwig and Gunther are about to break up and turn somebody into a good guy? Yes, it does. Also, please do Bron Breakker versus Ludwig Kaiser. It's basically the future staring at you right in the face. Sami Zayn then got on word that Jey Uso had been attacked, so he found Adam Pearce and he went, hey, who attacked Jey Uso? Adam Pearce just went, well, who do you think attacked Jey Uso? I was like, Adam, that is not helping. Of course, Sami then realised, oh my gosh, maybe it is Seth Rollins, when he stormed off to have his main event match. Pearce then probably had the line of the night because Finn Balor also barged in. And he wanted his world title match. Adam Pearce was like, dude, getting you to defend your tag team championship is like an act of Congress. Why would I give you something else? That's very good. It's also great that WWE is acknowledging that he never defends these belts. At the same time, it's a bit like Far Cry Blood Dragon, like, tutorials are lame. Now we're going to make you do this lame tutorial. Thankfully, Gunther is well up for this too, so it has been made for Saturday night's main event. Now look, that is never going to end with a Finn Balor title reign, but I really hope Finn is allowed to cook in that match, because he is criminally underrated. When we got to our main event, it was Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn, and when you take everything else that happened on this Raw, and you throw this in there too, it could very well be the best Raw of 2024. I mean, for one, it is Sami versus Seth, and you could build to that on a pay-per-view, but they were leapfrogging, and they were ducking, and they were diving, and they were just laying this stuff in. I sat there and realised, damn it, I'm having a good time. They'd eventually smashed Rollins in the face to stop all this when they chopped each other, and obviously none of these were as good as Gunther's. When Rollins decided he was going to double down on Sami Zayn's arm, and that worked for a while, until it just didn't. Instead, Zayn kind of did this springboard leap over smash kind of a thing, and then Seth Rollins was going for the pedigree. When Zayn spun out of that and he hit the least devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the Blue Thunder Bomb. Did it work? No, of course it didn't. Never does. They then really hit the go button, and Sami must have been watching the show and talking to Luigi because he was able to avoid the stomp, when they found themselves on the outside, and Sami was essentially going, Seth Rollins, you beat up my best friend and lover boy Jay. Rollins then tried to make it clear his beef is with CM Punk, that they were throwing each other into our ringside friends, when Zayn got so mad, he grabbed a chair. Even the ref was like, Sam, don't do that. I'll have to DQ you. Now, it was actually at this point when it did click for me. I was like, I know who attacked Jey Uso, but I have to imagine WWE did this on purpose. But eventually, Sami did calm down, and he got rid of the chair, but like a goober, he turned his back on Seth Rollins, who hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, surprise roll-up for the 1, 2, 3. And yes, has to get it down. Don't do 2 back-to-back on the same show. Just let Pete Dunne beat R-Truth. That one I just thought, well, yeah, we pushed the boundaries too much. It really doesn't matter, though, when afterwards Seth Rollins tried to reason with Sami Zayn, saying, dude, I love your heart, but you've got to be smarter here. And as soon as he left, of course, who made their big return to Raw? Joe Tessitore was right a few months ago. It was Drew McIntyre, and he was in a hoodie. He also claymored Sami Zayn right out of his boots, and he just felt like the biggest deal. And of course, it was him that laid out Jay. So we got some more action to get into, which has all the justification. Drew McIntyre hates these guys. That's how Raw went off air as well, so I am totally going to give it an up. And again, this was such a fun episode of Raw. We did so much, the storytelling was amazing, and I've been able to ponder this because, again, I was on a flight, and you know what? It's getting a golden up. That's how good I thought it was. Now, of course, please do leave a comment below and let me know if you agree with me. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which is ups and downs for Survivor Series, to get all of my thoughts. But otherwise, I appreciate you, my friends, very much, because your support has sent me across the seas. I'll see you soon.